Hi, this is Eric from Longbox Review at longboxreview.com. This is part 2 of my discussion with Travis about the current comic book related TV shows. Please keep in mind that this discussion relates to the TV shows up to the episodes that aired in early November. And then we talk about the movies from DC and Marvel that are being released through the year 2020. If you are joining the podcast for the first time, I encourage you to go back and listen to episode 76, which is part 1 of this conversation. Okay, so you just mentioned Easter eggs, and I wanted to let's use that as the transition to the next show because there was a fun Easter egg in this one. I thought let's talk about Constantine. Now, I've only seen the first 2 episodes. The third one has aired at this point, but I haven't watched it yet. Have you watched have you watched all 3 episodes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Constantine. So I figure, considering your history with the character, because you loved Hellblazer so much, and I did too for what I read of it. It was a great comic. That was a great character. I'm really sad that they decided to go with the New 52 version of the character, although I read the first 6 issues of the New 52 version of Constantine, and it was okay. I didn't keep up with it. Did you?
No, I read the first couple issues and dropped it.
Yeah,
I didn't care for it.
So I see in Constantine, and this is what network is Constantine on? That's NBC. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I can see elements of both versions of Constantine in this show, and I'm okay with that. I have no problems with that. It's a little rough, a little rougher than perhaps some of the other new shows that have come out in some ways. The actor Matt Ryan, I believe, he certainly looks the part. It's in terms of if you want to cast someone who looks like a character from another medium, I think he looks like a young Constantine.
He wears his tie too loose though.
Well, okay.
Just saying, I want to be critical about his look. He wears his tie way too loose. Constantine doesn't wear his tie tight, but he doesn't wear it, almost around his belt either. So
yeah. But I mean, I'm not necessarily talking about his clothing, but just the physical appearance of the guy. Yeah. And he has, he sounds British enough.
Well, he's Welsh, so I would hope so.
Yeah, exactly. So I like the character as he's portrayed so far.
Yeah, he's got the right swag. He's got the right swag to him. I mean, I think that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know that a lot of people have been complaining. Again, we're going back to making that comparison to the comic, but a lot of people have been complaining about how he's not the Hellblazer Constantine enough, and that's the one they prefer. And I totally get that. I understand that compulsion to want the character to be the one you like as opposed to the one that you don't like.
Nobody would watch that show though.
Right. So so I was watching that first episode, and I made a comment on Twitter about how Constantine is a right bastard, but he really isn't in comparison to the John Constantine in Hellblazer. But I don't think that would work on network TV. If they put this on, I don't know, one of the other, HBO or Showtime or something, they could probably do that and get away with it very easily, and probably do it well. But it's on NBC. So there has to be certain allowances that are made about the character. Certain places the show simply cannot go because it's on network television.
Sure.
So, but despite that, I think they're skirting that line pretty well, and maybe a little too safe in some ways. But again, we're only 3 episodes into this show, and I'm loving it. This is the show out of all the new shows that I'm watching that I intend to watch, within days after it airs, because I love the setup, I love the premise of it. I'm enjoying Matt Ryan's portrayal of Constantine. The deal he has set up with that angel, I find intriguing. Depends on where they go with it, really.
I don't like that part.
However, I will say on the other side of that, it seems a lot. It seems a little too much like. Do you remember the show Travis Brimstone?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It seems a lot like that. That kind of that setup, and the whole the part at the end of the first episode where the female lead of the show, I can't remember the character's name now,
mm-hmm.
but she's the one that could scry with her blood.
Right.
And so she had placed all those droplets of blood all over the United States.
It gives them a map. Mm-hmm.
It gives you an instant. So here's our 5-year plan. If we make it to 5 years on the show, we could we have all these bad guys to go defeat, just like Brimstone did. The 113 souls that the character had to go get. Because I remember you and I talked about this. Before social media was a big thing.
Yeah.
And we talked about, hey, that actually gets them to about 5 years if they do one soul per episode.
Yep.
So I kind of got that feel. There's been comparisons of the show to Supernatural because it's Constantine going out and defeating these spirits or some evil presence. Just like in Supernatural.
Yeah.
So
just remember, folks, that that Hellblazer came first. Supernatural is mined
right.
from the comic.
No, wait. Are you saying literally?
Castile, they have said, was an homage to John Constantine, the character Castile, the angel, the way he dresses, the trench coat, the tie.
I thought he looked familiar.
They have specifically stated that his look and whatnot is a homage to the John Constantine character. So
right, okay,
whatever. Not that it matters.
I don't,
and you can have more than one show like that anyway. So.
Well, but I think it does need to distinguish itself a little bit more because Supernatural is pretty popular. It's not a show I watched the first few episodes again, kind of like Arrow, and I thought, well, this is too melodramatic for me.
It's a CW show.
It's a CW show, right? But it's hugely popular.
Oh yeah.
So I do think that Constantine needs to distinguish itself a little bit more from the setup. However, Constantine, the character himself, is, I think, pretty interesting. I want to say that's not the right word. Provocative enough to hold my interest at least. And hopefully everybody else's who's watching, because I really dig this show in general so far.
It's in a tough time slot.
It's Fridays at 10, right?
10 o'clock on Friday night is a tough time slot.
I'm really surprised that they did that.
But that means that pretty soon it will be back to back with I think with Hannibal, which is another show that shocks me that it continues to get seasons. I love that show too, but and it's an off the wall, pushing the envelope of network television, in my opinion. So that'll be interesting. At any rate, that's as a side note. I'm really enjoying the show. Of the shows we're talking about, I think it's the better of the show. I think it's the much more polished.
Really?
I think so. I think it's
wow.
a better show. I think but part of that
kind of surprises me you say that.
But part of it is it's my thing. I like this kind of thing. I mean, that's part of it. There are some beefs that I can get into the nitty gritty beefs I have with the show, and some just basic ones. One of them that kind of bums me out is the angel thing bothers me, in the sense that John Constantine from the comic book, he doesn't have those kinds of motivations. In the TV show, they've given this motivation. Look, you may be able to buy your way back out of hell if you do enough good deeds for the angels. Is kind of what you get the impression from the pilot, right? And the character in the comic book has never had that kind of motivation. His motivation is I'm selfish and I really don't feel like going to hell, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to not go to hell.
But this is one of those concessions that network TV has to make, right? Because he could be the bad boy, but he has to have a heart of gold to some degree, right, and be motivated by more than just self-preservation to be the hero, the hero of the story.
Sure, I get it, and I'm one of those people. I may be in the minority. I think that even in the comic book, even in Hellblazer, at the end of the day, John wants to do the right thing. He doesn't always, and his version of what's the right thing can sometimes be jacked up. But so I understand, completely understand why in the TV show they have him have that motivation. That gives us the consumer, us simpletons that watch television, a direct. This is why he's moving where he's moving. It makes it really easy. It makes it nice and clean and simple for us. He's clearly on the side of good because he's working with angels. So obviously he's doing the right thing. Well, I hope they play with that some. I hope they play with the fact that maybe, God's strict word may not be as simple as what, and I hope they play with that. I hope they have the balls to take that someplace, because clearly even this Constantine that they have in the TV show, like I said, he's got some swag. He's, he'll talk back and stuff, and I want to see him question and kind of go to some of the stuff that's going on. So I'm hoping we see more of that. I was kind of bummed in the pilot, where they show the whole why he was in Ravenscar, which I have problems with why they have him in the version of Ravenscar that they have.
Sure.
The comic book was way cooler, but at any rate.
That's too much backstory, Travis.
I know. I wanted to see the severed arm. I wanted to see him come away with the severed arm. I didn't want to see her wholly get pulled off. I wanted to be that extra trauma there.
No, wait. This is NBC, Travis. Come on.
Yeah, at 10 o'clock. But anyway, they got, you haven't seen the latest episode, but there's people actually exploding in the latest episode. In big gouts of blood. So, yeah. No, I like the show. I think it hits most of the notes that it needs to. Like I said, I could get into the why I think the comic is still better. I hope they develop the characters more. I hope there becomes more of a storyline than each week we fight a monster.
Yes.
Right now, all it is a twisted version of Scooby-Doo, and in the mystery van pulling up to the next monster and whacking it. And I want there to be more than that. I love all the little things they put in it. The helm of Dr. Fate's helmet in there.
Right. So that's the Easter egg thing that I wanted to point out that got us into this. Right. Go ahead.
So they're in the house. They're in a version of the House of Mystery, because in the episode you haven't watched yet, Zed shows up, gets to their base of operations, and they're kind of showing around, and they open up this one hallway, and it looks bigger on the inside than the outside, because they open this hallway, and this hallway goes on for eternity. And Constantine goes, we're not going to wander around the house, and closes the door. So
okay, so there wasn't a direct Doctor Who.
No, she literally says.
Comment.
She literally, other than saying Doctor Who, she literally says it looks bigger on the inside than the outside. She literally does say that. So.
All right.
Which I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned the character Zed, and so she showed up in the second episode that aired.
Because they decided that they didn't like the person from the pilot, that relationship wasn't going to work.
The relationship between the characters, not the actress.
Right. The characters.
Right. We'll make that distinction. Right. So they wanted to go with a different direction. Although I kind of wish that I kind of hope she comes back in and out. I don't know. I like the actress and that character in that pilot episode.
Sure.
Not that I don't like Zed. I've only seen one episode of her so far. So yeah, so I want to mention Zed. Did you know that they refilmed some of the pilot stuff because of that reason, because of the change in direction? So
I'm sure they refilmed the ending of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that whole bit at the end where Chaz shows up and says, I don't remember the character's name now.
Right, that she left or whatever. Right?
That she's just gone. So that was all new. Mm-hmm. Anyway, speaking of Chaz, so there's that first episode where he's
indestructible now.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
That was bizarre. That was one of those things where I just went, okay, we're obviously throw the comic book out. We're just gonna go with this as it is.
Because Chaz is a very human character in Hellblazer, right?
Extremely. He's a bloke, and somehow he ends up, he's the only friend of John's that doesn't get totally annihilated throughout most of the book. So, yeah, now he's way less fragile. Obviously, he comes back or whatever. I mean, I don't know if they'll explore that at all, but clearly he's something different, which I guess works for the TV show in the sense that if they're going to continue along the lines of anybody who hangs around with Constantine ends up dead, this is how he somehow manages to hang around Constantine and not end up dead.
Yeah, if
So
it's so dangerous, then yeah, he would have to be. But then again, if he can be resurrected in whatever fashion he is, because like I said, I've only seen 2 episodes and he's only died in one.
right, that's it. Yeah.
Um, you know, where's the I don't know, where's the dramatic tension there for that character if he's indestructible, as you said.
Well, there hasn't been any, and I don't know if there will be now at this point. You know, I mean, the character's been around, I mean, he hasn't been any kind of a
And
focal. So
yeah, and don't you find that interesting? Granted, you know, they decided after the pilot that they wanted to go in a different direction with the female lead, and
mhm.
so they bring in Zed, and so they use that second episode to introduce the character and get us interested in her. So I can understand them not focusing on Chaz more than they have, but at the
Mhm.
same time, he's Constantine's buddy. Not essentially his buddy.
Right.
That whole buddy cop type
Mhm.
relationship type of thing. You know, I fully expected Chaz to have more lines essentially, and more screen time, more interaction with Constantine than he actually has had so far. I find that interesting and bizarre. Why would they not do that more? I guess. But that may have to do with how they're setting up the creature of the week episodes,
Mhm.
because they want to focus on those particular stories, the action, the
Right.
good versus evil type thing that
right.
they're setting up.
Yeah, that's the exciting part. I mean, so I'm sure we're gonna continue to see that. I just hope that we start working in more of the character of these people, even the
Yes.
character of Constantine. I mean, it's there. I think it's kind of there. I mean, at least with Constantine, like I said, he has the swag and whatnot. It's there. The latest episode, they touched base on his punk roots,
Oh,
so
good.
I thought was fun. So that's cool. You know, that the latest episode has Papa Midnight in it also.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw the promo for that. Yeah.
interesting take on him. Yeah, I think it's all there now. We're only 3 episodes in or whatever, so I mean, it clearly takes time. You can't have all of that in the first one.
Right. Right.
So the initial hook for everybody is, some fun special effects, and we're, fighting creepy things, and
Right.
and now hopefully they'll start giving us us connoisseurs want that other stuff. So
So yeah, and so to touch on that a little bit more. So one of the complaints I heard about the Flash was how they were doing that, the bad guy, the creature of the week type situation.
uh
And what somebody on one of the podcasts I listened to said this, and I totally agree with it. It makes total sense. These are new shows, and they're trying to grab the audience. The producers of the show have no idea, after making a few episodes, whether or not they're going to be whether they're going to continue. Well, yeah,
right.
that, but whether or not they're going to be allowed to continue, right, to
Mhm.
get a full season pickup at least, right? So I totally get why they're doing these really self-contained story. I mean, they're building on the characters a little bit, but they're really focused on the action, the plot device of here's the bad guy, here's his powers,
Mhm.
how are we going to defeat him, that kind of stuff in the Flash. So now that they've, in the case of the Flash, they've got that full season order, they can now move beyond that a little bit, safely, knowing that they have 20, 22 episodes ish, whatever, however many CW does in a season. So I can see the same thing with Constantine. They need to focus on these really self-contained stories, get people interested in the show,
Right.
and then develop those things. But obviously, like you say, in that third episode, they're already starting to give a little bit of more backstory with Constantine and introduce Papa Midnight, more characters from the book, et cetera. So I used to be really, just like some people that I just mentioned, the critical of how TV shows start off, but not realizing that it's because the producers of the show are trying to get more people to watch and get that more secure continuation of the show. So I'm really hoping, just like you, that this show really grabs me, and just because of the character and the content, I really like not naming the actual show, but supernatural elements of it. Despite the fact that I don't watch Supernatural, and I understand your objection to the whole angelic angle, but
Well,
I like the angelic stuff. I'm really hoping that the angels end up being portrayed as not perfectly good characters, and I kind of got that sense from the actor who's portraying that angel. I can't remember the character's name, the angel's name in the show, nor the actor's name, but he was on Lost for a while. I know that. Mm-hmm. But his portrayal of that character seems a bit sinister in some ways, which I liked. But I totally agree with you about Constantine's connection or lack of connection with the angelic host in the book, unless of course it's a means to an end for him. He gets something out of it as opposed to what they presented here. But I'm okay with what they've set up. I can forgive that for now but hope that the whole angel versus demon thing isn't as black and white as they've kind of set it up to be. To some degree, go beyond that, make it more gray and less black and white.
Well, as long as they don't introduce too many demons that have personality and are going to sit around and have conversations and stuff like that to really turn it into a battle between the heaven and hell, I think they'll do okay. I mean, at some point we're gonna engage long-term. I'm assuming long-term evil nemesis, of some sort. I can't imagine that all the villains are gonna be kind of nameless, creature kind of things. But I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I completely understand why the angelic thing is there and stuff. I guess the part that really didn't settle well with me on that whole aspect was when basically the angel puts forward the possibility of you're going straight to hell and this might save you. Him getting misty-eyed about really there might be a chance to save my soul versus
right. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Versus John Constantine would go, hell yeah, I've got a way to get myself out of this now. That moment he lost the Constantine swagger that they've done a good job of him capturing all the way along. Because, not to say that in the books John doesn't have weepy-eyed moments, but they're a different kind of a weepy-eyed moment than that. To me, it was like this. It was a soft part that doesn't match up to my version of the character. It was just that moment that. Like I said, instead of it being that way, if it would have been more delivered, if it would have been more of a, I've got a way to get out, I'd been liking it more than the kind of misty-eyed, my soul may not be lost forever thing. So
yeah.
But still, like I said, really like the show. I watch it while I stay up. Normally, I'm a person that goes to bed by 10 o'clock or somewhere around there. I stay up. I watch it. I record it too, but I watch it live. I don't. All the other shows I record them and watch them later on, but that one I am excited to watch. So
yeah, exactly. Same with me.
To Friday watching it. So
yeah. I really hope that this show gets picked up for a longer haul, but I'm not all that confident that it will, considering the time slot, considering the content of it. I'm trying to think how, but like you said, you mentioned Hannibal. That seems to be resonating with viewers too. So. I don't know. Actually, that's a show I don't watch, but I've heard enough about it to know that it really kind of pushes the boundary for a network show. So I'm hoping that Constantine fills another niche in the viewers that like shows like Hannibal, perhaps. Yeah, keep it going, guys. Everybody watch it.
Yeah.
All right. I have one more show we should talk about, and then we could talk about some other little things, Travis.
Okay.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Are you watching that?
Not consistently. I don't record it. If I'll watch The Flash because of course they moved the time slot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because those two were going up against each other, and then they moved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to a different time slot. They moved it to a later time slot. I do watch it after The Flash if I have time or whatever, but not consistently. So I watch it sometimes, and sometimes I don't watch it.
Okay. Well, I know too that you were not particularly up on the show when it last season when it premiered.
Yeah. Well, I watched the first couple. But here's my biggest problem with Agent of Shield. I'm not a big Agent of Shield fan. I'm not a fan of the Agents of Shield in the comic book. Even if a comic book drifts enough off into just being Agent of Shield stuff, I lose interest very, very quickly. I like them as an organization being in the Marvel Universe, but I'm not a big fan of them, the super spy. I mean, I love Nick Fury, the old Serenko book, because it looks gorgeous, it's cool, it's its own comic book thing. But so Agents of Shield already has marks against it for me, just based on that. The premise is of people that I'm not that interested in. I'm not a Coulson fan. I mean, I kind of liked him a little bit in the movie. I think he's ridiculous in the TV show. So.
Oh, come on! You're being too hard.
No, I'm not. You show up to they parachute you down into some place to fight some bad guys, and he is still freaking wearing a 3-piece suit and dress shoes. Give me a freaking break.
He's styling. He's got style.
No, he's stupid. That is stupid.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I will give you. I will grant you the stupid. Because there's something that happened at the end of the last episode that I watched and it's the second time something like this has happened. These agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are the stupidest agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or stupidest agents of anything ever.
So I mean, I'm kind of interested in the whole fact that this season obviously they've had to go underground because they've been exposure. I'm assuming that has to do with what happened in Captain America, Winter Soldier, right? That's cool. That's cool. And frustrating at the same time that Marvel chooses to have their television show tie into their movies, because I think it hamstrings the television show. It's certainly not going to hamstring the movies, because the movies is where all the money's at. So I think that kind of messes with that to some degree, which I think is unfortunate. But like I said, I watch it off and on. It's somewhat interesting, but doesn't really do a whole lot for me. But that kind of thing with the Coulson thing, that just drives me absolutely insane. I mean, I get the fact he wears a suit all the time and nobody else does. That's fine, but not when you're going into doing ops. That's BS.
Okay, like I said, I'll grant you that one. Well, I've been watching the show since episode 1. Sometimes I'll get behind and I'll have to watch it, several in a row. But I've been keeping up with it. I've watched all the episodes that have aired so far. This season has a different tone to it, a slightly darker tone. To go in line with what, like you said, them being underground and stuff. I find it really curious. This is just a tiny nitpick, but I find it really curious that this quasi-government agency, who is now all but destroyed because of what happened with Hydra, still has money to support their efforts. I'm trying to figure out where the money has come from, why these people, besides just straight up altruism, why they would even stick around. I mean, I get the core people around Coulson, in the show doing it, but there are other agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. out there. They're the foot soldiers that they show on occasion. Why are those guys sticking around? If they're underground and
they're heroes.
No fun. Yeah, I know. Altruism, like I said, but it's just one of those things. I'm watching this going, why would you do? And okay, let me get back to the stupid thing. So last season, we find out that what's his name? Oh God, I'm so bad with names on TV show. Grant.
The one. Yeah,
Agent Grant.
It's
Grant
the
Ward.
double agent, whatever.
Yeah, Agent Ward's the double agent. Oh, and by the way, I did not know this until today. I just happened to be reading up on stuff. The actor who portrays Ward, he was the only one in the cast told from the beginning that he would be a double agent.
Oh,
and so he was allowed to put in, subtle bits, actory bits, I guess, to kind of foreshadow that, I guess. I never got that from until later in the season. But early on I didn't get that at all. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that he was told to begin with that he was going to be a Hydra agent. So, but anyway, so there's a scene where Ward and his mentor, played by Bill Paxton, they're revealed to be the Hydra agents, and they end up killing not Maria Hill, the other lady, the lady with the lock of hair. Wow, you think I read comic books and know these characters. Anyway, So they're on a plane. They've been captured. They're on a plane. Oh, that's when you find out that Ward's the double agent because he ends up killing Shield agents to free Paxton's character. Okay, that's bad enough that these the Uber Shield agents, granted they're foot soldiers, but still they can't deal with people like that. Anyway, this last episode, they're transferring Ward from the detention cell that he's in, where the main core Shield people are, to transfer him to his brother, the senator.
Right.
And what happens? He gets free and shoots. She's
right. He wastes everybody. That's the last episode I saw, where he was wiping everybody out. Yeah.
Oh my God. And and Coulson even told the people that as they were loading him up, keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Stupid agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, clearly, if he was that dangerous, why didn't they sedate him?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. See, you would be a better director of S.H.I.E.L.D. than Agent Coulson. You know what though? I'm still enjoying it. Like I said, it's a different tone. Skye she's really driven to combat Hydra. There's that motivation there for her. But things are really serious and like I said, darker a little bit, in tone. So we don't have that. I mean, we still have lighthearted moments, because Coulson's Coulson. He just throws out these,
right,
typical one-liners.
Well, I mean, I know that season 1, and I haven't consistently watched it, but season 1, kind of the funny people were the two scientists, right? Fitz and
Simmons, yeah.
Simmons. They were kind of amusing. Their whole, being the stereotypical scientists, the way they deal with stuff, and that was all kind of amusing and kind of cute and whatnot. Well, I don't know what happened because I didn't watch the end of the season, but obviously, well, the one actress is now in The Flash, right? Isn't that the same actress? Is it not? It's not. Okay.
No.
I wasn't sure if those two scientist ladies, to me, they look exactly the same. I thought they were the same actress. But anyway,
no. Nope.
Okay. But anyway, so obviously something really bad happened because, of course, she comes back, her hair is all jacked up. She obviously was with Hydra at some point or whatever. And he's a total basket case. He's a complete wreck. So.
Right.
What, he got hit? He got hit trauma or something?
Yeah, sort of.
Ward threw him out of the plane or something?
Yes. So yeah, Ward was told to basically take Fitz and Simmons out, and instead of just shooting them, like you would expect someone to do when they're being ordered to kill you,
right?
He put him in this compartment and then shoved that compartment out of the plane, and they went into the ocean, knowing that they could probably figure a way out, and they did, obviously. But what happened was that so they blew the compartment out so that they could actually get out of it before they ran out of air, and then get to the surface. But in doing so, they only had enough air for one person. So Fitz, I think Fitz is the guy.
Yeah.
Fitz gave Simmons the canister of air.
He gets the bends, huh?
And so he was without oxygen enough that he has brain damage, and that's why he has the difficulty communicating, and maybe I have brain damage, which is why I can't remember these characters' names, and has difficulty with the scientific stuff that he's doing. In the meantime, Simmons went undercover at a Hydra scientific facility to get what she could out of it. She's now since been found out and then has rejoined the team.
Right.
And I wanted to point this out. So you saw the Mockingbird character come into it, right?
Mm-hmm. Which I love that actress. I love that actress.
Yeah. What she was. I want to say she was in something, or was she was
the Wonder Woman.
The Wonder Woman pilot that the show never got off the ground. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought that was really cool. Mm-hmm. I like the addition of her. They have the new the one. Here we go. I should look these things up. One of the British guys who is a mercenary who is the ex-husband of
Bobby. Is it?
Bobby.
Don't they call it Bobby? Yeah. So, So I mean, yeah, I caught that part. Right.
I like him. I like their interaction. They have the two newer characters. One joined last season, and he and Skye they kind of flirt together. And then there's the other character who is I guess he's the mechanic of the show now, and
Mm-hmm.
he's been helping Fitz get things done, and I really like the relationship they're building there. So they have all these characters, somewhat newer characters coming in, or new characters coming in to the show, and they're developing these one-on-one relationships with other older characters, so we don't get that same dynamic that we've seen for the past season.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm liking that they're building up the characters and the situations between them. So I'm really enjoying the show. You have the whole alien scribbling that Coulson is doing, that I'm sure will tie into some movie at some point. I can only guess.
The Skrull are going to come around at some point, right?
Skrull or Kree or whatever. Yeah, who knows? Or maybe it is just a total. They're building up something for the end of this season, or for a future season. Who knows? Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's definitely not. It's a show that I'll watch. I'll sit and watch when I can. It's not a must see like Constantine is for me. Mm-hmm. I'm really like Constantine and Flash. Those are the ones I want to keep up on out of all these shows. The other ones I'll watch when I can.
My kids really like Gotham, so that's why I'm up on it all the time too. So.
Okay. Well, my 8-year-old, soon to be 9-year-old granddaughter, she really wanted to watch that show, and so we started watching it. I was told, well, I think by you, and by our friend Greg, because he's watching it too, that maybe I should preview it before, and I did, and she's watching it with me. And she continues to want to watch it, so we'll see how that goes. Some of the things in it, I'm a little like, oh, maybe she shouldn't be watching that, but it's not as bad as God, I don't know, Walking Dead. We don't let the kids watch that show at all.
Yeah.
When like I said, when my daughter and her fiance comes over to watch it, we have the girls go. Our two granddaughters, 8 and 10, go to their room and play in there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, anything else we want to say about any of these TV shows that we were watching, Travis?
I think so.
All right. So what we got coming up, so they in, I think it was the first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it might have been the second of the season, they had Agent Carter make an appearance. And I think it's the same actress as the Agent Carter that we saw in the Captain America movie as well. And as we know, there's an Agent Carter series coming out. It's supposed to be like when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. goes on hiatus for the mid-season.
Right.
Agent Carter is supposed to come in with I think it's an 8 or 9-part miniseries, something like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know. How do you feel about that show?
I'll probably give it a shot. I watch it. I mean, I'm curious about that. So she's an interesting enough character on her own that I think that depending on what they choose to tell for a story, that could be fun. Okay,
and then we have iZombie, which is based on the Vertigo comic from a few years ago. I looked it up real quick this morning, Travis. I didn't see any indication of when that was going to appear.
Yeah, I don't know. They had a lot of talk about it for a while, and now it's just kind of like the talk has quit. So, I thought it was like a done deal. I mean, I thought they, had shows in the can and everything even.
Well, I understand. I'm sure that's true because I understand that it was considered a mid-season replacement for something that was not going to, obviously go forward. Okay. So we haven't made mid-season yet. So. Maybe spring it'll be out.
Mm-hmm. Who is that? Do you remember where that's being? Is that AMC?
I don't remember.
I can't remember if that's at AMC or if that's something. Okay, cool.
Here, I'm gonna look it up real quick. In the meantime, and then we have Daredevil in 2015, the Netflix series. Mm-hmm. Coming up now, the other Netflix series that they talked about, they haven't mentioned any time frame, so dates, they're coming, but they haven't even said if it's 2015. I assume that they'll release these throughout 2015 because they're supposed to be, short seasons as I recall. And so they'll start with Daredevil, and I'm sure they'll move on to the next one, and being Netflix, they'll release all the episodes of the season all at once, right? So they'll do that one week, and maybe a few weeks later or a month later, I don't know, I'm totally guessing here, they'll release Luke Cage, and then Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones, the Alias one, and eventually, of course, the Defenders. Am I missing? Was that it? Was it just those 4 and the Defenders? So there's 5 series that they're doing?
I think so.
Yeah. There's also iZombie. I looked it up. It's on CW.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So obviously they're waiting for some, maybe Arrow will be canceled mid-season.
You wish.
I know. No. I don't wish that at all. I'm just hacking on you, Travis. So there's also the Powers. TV show, in quotes.
Yeah.
I don't mean to belittle it, but because it's really, I love the comic. Bendis and Emming have created a really interesting take on a superhero comic with the Powers title.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard that they were producing a possible TV show for it, I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'll watch that. I love the comic. I bet the show will be good. And then I heard that maybe it wasn't going ahead, and then it suddenly was, but it's a
PlayStation.
PlayStation. Thank you. I was going to say Xbox. I'm like, that's not right. It's a PlayStation show.
Mm-hmm. Sony's producing it.
Well, yeah, because that they're behind PlayStation, right? Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't mean to belittle it at all because obviously Netflix is a different medium to a delivery medium from
mm-hmm.
quote unquote television, right? Mm-hmm. But I guess I have a hard time getting behind something that I can't access unless I have this special equipment to do so.
Get with the times, man.
I guess I don't have.
I guess you could look at it 2 ways. One, that obviously they've been struggling to get that show made, but Bendis and them believe in the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it was kind of quasi greenlit a half a dozen different places. It seems like Fox had it at one point. It sounded like it was going to be on something else at some point or another. So obviously it's had its ups and downs. They had actors all hired and were doing pilots, and those actors are all gone, and now they've got totally new people. So obviously it's gone through some aches and pains. I think it's kind of, frustrating, obviously, if you don't have a PlayStation to watch it and whatnot. I do. So, but
do you plan on watching it?
I'll probably give it a shot. Yeah.
Is this something that you get? I am not familiar with PlayStation. So, is it something? Do you have to pay a subscription, or how does that work? How do you get to watch it if you have a PlayStation?
Well, I'm assuming I'll be paying for it. I'm assuming I'll pay for a subscription for that or whatever. Like you have games, you could download content or whatever to add to the game, to add more stuff to the game if you want. I'm assuming it's gonna be along the same sort of lines. I have no idea.
So is it? Do you think it'll be? I assume that they'd offer you could buy individual episodes like you can from iTunes, or you can buy for a season pass.
I would guess, but it's new. That's just it. So I'm okay with it because it's new. It's a new way of delivering, quote unquote TV to me. So I'm interested to see what it is. I'm not going to poo-poo it that hard. Yes, it is frustrating the fact that obviously if you're not, but a lot of that stuff's kind of that way. If you don't have Amazon Prime, that's the only place you can see reruns of certain shows and stuff. That sucks too if you don't have Amazon Prime. It's all part of this new, the way media is being delivered to us anyway. And to me, this just feels like another branch of that. At some point, Xbox is going to do the same damn thing. If you have an Xbox, you're going to get content that no one else is going to get.
Oh sure, yeah. I'm totally supportive of that. Obviously, I have Netflix. I'm gonna be watching the new Marvel TV series. I guess my problem with it is I have to go buy what? How much is a PlayStation nowadays? $500?
Well, if you're gonna buy a 4, yeah. If you're gonna buy a PlayStation 4, yeah.
Yeah, so I have to go spend hundreds of dollars to get that content right now.
You can go buy a PlayStation console, a 3 for, less than a quarter of that. So it's not. But you're right. Why would you want to go buy a system just to watch Powers?
Right. So right now I have I have a Roku that we bought.
And I would be grumpy if they were putting it on Xbox. I just wouldn't watch it because I don't plan on buying an Xbox, and I wouldn't buy an Xbox to watch content.
Right. So what I'm hoping is that, like I said, I have a Roku. That's where I have my Netflix. That's where I have my Hulu Plus. Mm-hmm. So I'm paying my subscriptions to those services, but I can access them through this one device that I spent, $50 on, if that, right? What I'm hoping is that after a time, maybe PlayStation will allow it to be delivered in a different fashion, so I don't have to go buy a console just to watch it, because I really want to watch this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that may be the case. It's just who's getting it first. They're getting it first.
It totally makes sense to me. But as a special thing, as a PlayStation subscriber, you get this cool TV series.
Right. And it may inspire a few people to go, well, I always was kind of decide which system I wanted. I'm going to go with the PlayStation instead of an Xbox, because I'm not only am I going to get to play my games and whatever, now I've also will get access to this show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's why PlayStation, one of the reasons PlayStation is doing it, is it's just one more reason to buy PlayStation instead of Xbox. Seems how in a lot of ways the two things are the same damn thing. But
yeah. Okay. Anything else we want to talk about? Comic book TV-ish wise.
Supergirl.
Okay. So what was the last thing that you heard about that?
CBS is picking up the Supergirl.
They did. Okay.
Yeah, that's where it's going to be shown at. That's who's got it right now. Is that CBS? Which of course CBS is the one station that's not in the superhero game yet, or comic book TV shows, because Fox has got a show. NBC's got a show.
NBC, yep.
So they're the one that doesn't have a show, so they better get a comic book show, right? So they're doing Supergirl. I've heard, no Superman in it, which I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's Supergirl, so I don't care about Superman.
Exactly.
I haven't heard a whole lot about it. I haven't been paying super close attention to it to know exactly what it's gonna be. I just excited that they're doing somebody's gonna concentrate on a female centric superhero show, which is good. I think they need to do that just because the climate we're in with comic books trying to move that direction more and more, that they should have a show that's based that way too. So I'll give it a shot if it actually makes it to the screen.
Well, yeah, it says, okay, so this is, I looked it up because last I heard they were developing the pilot for it, but apparently a few weeks or several weeks ago, confirmation arrived. It's being developed by, Greg Berlanti's behind it, so he's the guy behind Arrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. CBS has received a series commitment, or they've given a series commitment. So there you go. Yeah, that's cool that they're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my granddaughter Gabby she's a Supergirl fan, and so she's really looking forward to that possibility. When I told her about that, and then Madison, who's a big Batgirl fan, said, "What about Batgirl?" And I had to say, "Sorry." Let's watch Arrow.
Maybe she'll show up in it.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Turn it into like World's Finest is right now,
Or super BFFs. That's what they should do. They should just do that.
Yeah. They should. Oh man.
Wonder Woman and Batgirl.
Don't get me started on the lack of DC Nation stuff.
What's that? What's DC Nation?
Hey, which is only compounded by the fact that my satellite subscriber Dish Network is in. Yeah, it's in a, just like they do almost seems like every year with Fox, they're in a dispute with Turner Network.
But it's been a long time.
Well, it's been what, like 3 weeks?
Yes, that's a long time.
Well, it is. You're right. It is.
I have children too who live on cartoons, and let me tell you.
Yeah, we have no Cartoon Network, so we, like I said, Madison's a big Batgirl fan now, and Batman fan, but Batgirl mostly. But we were watching that Beware the Batman, and of course, like I said earlier in the show, it was cut short, but Cartoon Network did burn through the episodes by showing them like at 11:30 at night here recently.
Mhm.
And so I just hope to God that we got recorded all of the episodes that they had produced before Cartoon Network went away because of this dispute between the cable or the satellite subscriber and the network.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and my wife was really bummed because CNN apparently is owned also by Turner Network, and we don't get CNN anymore.
Yep.
So yeah, lots of fun there. But anyway, despite those problems with our personal television viewing, or with our provider, like I said, we have. I'll say it again. I think that in some ways this is a golden age of television for us comic book fans, for all these shows that are out. Now, a lot of them are new. They may not last, but they're out there. They're getting being exposed to non-comic book readers, and not that I'm trying to make some connection between this vast TV watching audience is going to somehow start reading comics. That's not my point. I just like the fact that these characters, these concepts are being exposed to a wider audience than those of us who have read the comics for all these years. I just think that's really, really cool, and it's always cool to see the stuff that we've been reading on the pages for so long be transferred into a different medium as they are on TV or on film.
Yep. In another show, we'll talk about potentially the consequences of all that, but not today.
All right. Hey, so speaking of TV, or speaking of film is what I meant to say, both the Marvel and DC sides came out with their slate of films for the next, decade, I want to say? Almost decade?
At least until, 2018 or 19, something like that?
2020.
2020, okay.
2020. So I just want to touch on these a little bit, Travis, and get your feel for this. I'm going to go in time order of release.
Chronological order, okay.
There you go. Yes, that's a much better way of saying time order. Thank you. Oh my God, my brain is fried. Okay, so obviously we have the next Avengers movie. That's May 1st of next year. Age of Ultron. Oh, speaking of, have you seen the trailers for that, or the trailer for that?
Well, sure.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
The Pinocchio, I'm a puppet, I have no strings. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it looked cool. They make Ultron seem really menacing.
Yeah.
And in the comic book, I've never pictured him as being menacing. Yeah, he's a scary robot, but he's just, I don't know.
Scary robot.
Well, I don't know.
He's a Dalek.
Granted, my exposure to Kim is from, the mid '80s. That's when I read Ultron went. I haven't read anything current since then, with Ultron in it. But yeah, he was just an annoying robot, that was made of adamantium. Obviously, made him hard to fight. But it never struck me as being scary.
Sinister.
Whereas, whereas in at least the trailers I've seen, he comes across as being really sinister, as being this scary thing. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of exciting. I mean, I will definitely be in line to watch the movie. So
yeah. Did you also see? I saw this. This is part of the trailer, but it's so quick that I think you miss it. But I saw this originally on Tumblr. Somebody had taken screen captures of the trailer, and they focused on the very quick scene, like I said, of people trying to lift Thor's hammer, and
yeah.
And so it was really cool to see watch Thor react as Steve Rogers actually lifts it a tiny bit.
Yeah, it seems like it moves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Thor has this kind of panic look, like, oh crap.
Exactly. Yeah. That was awesome. I can't wait to see this movie. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, then Ant-Man is July 17th, 2015. Yeah. I
still can't believe there's an Ant-Man movie.
Me either. Come on, it's cool that they're doing Ant-Man, right?
Oh, not a doubt. It could probably be a really cool movie, but I'm just thinking Ant-Man, of all the things, why the hell would you greenlight that right away? It just boggles my mind. It really does.
Well, considering how well Marvel Studios has done with their releases, I mean, I totally, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, really? Guardians of the Galaxy? And that version of Guardians of the Galaxy? I'm like, really? And you know what? People responded to that. I was really surprised at how well that movie did. And I did enjoy it. I'm sure I will enjoy Ant-Man as well. But yeah, like you, I was like, really? Ant-Man?
No excitement around seeing that at all.
Yeah. Let's see. Then the next one is March 26th. So we only get 2 superhero movies in 2015, and during the summer. The next one is March 25th, 2016, and that's the Batman Superman Dawn of Justice movie. Then, oh wait, no, wait. I'm sorry. My information here is skewed. I don't know why they presented it this way. I'm looking at something that I reposted on Tumblr and it's wrong. So Captain America: Civil War is, unless this is a misprint, is May 6, 2015. And then you get Dawn of Justice with Batman versus Superman.
That movie makes me nervous.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that some other time, but
years from now.
Yeah. That's right. Civil War, though, Captain America: Civil War. I mean, so Marvel Comics has recently announced, I think at New York Comic Con, maybe or maybe it was more recently than that. Civil War. They're going to do a new Civil War, and they're going to, or maybe I'm thinking of Secret Wars, a new Secret Wars.
Well, all of that. They
retreading.
They teased all of those. They teased all of those events.
Yeah, but events they've already done.
I think it's all going to fall under one event. I think for the comic book, just to let you know, I think that all is going to fall under one sort of something, their own version of Crisis or whatever. I think.
Well, yeah, that's the speculation I've heard as well. But I found it interesting that they named the next Avengers movie Age of Ultron when at the same time that they announced that they had a miniseries, a miniseries event called Age of Ultron, and now we have Captain America: Civil War, and they've announced a new Civil War situation. So it's really interesting the synergy between Marvel Studios and Marvel Comics that they're being very closely worked through, I guess.
Yeah.
And obviously. Many people out there in internet land, and I've had thoughts myself. Why can't Warner and DC work more closely on their properties as Marvel does? But you know what? I'm of the mind now that
I don't want them to. I would love them to stay as far away from each other as they can.
Obviously we don't want Warner and DC to mimic what Marvel has done, and so like I was going to say. They're different properties, they're different attitudes. I'm just going to let them, let's see what happens. Let's let them do their own thing instead of, tearing them down before the fact with their expectations. I know, runs contrary to...
That wouldn't be the internet, and that wouldn't be fandom. What the hell are you talking about?
I know. Let's see here. Suicide Squad. That's... talk about, we're kind of being critical of Ant-Man, like why Ant-Man? Suicide Squad, that's kind of along the same vein, isn't it?
Except for people love Harley Quinn, and people were pretty excited for that brief tease that was in the Arrow, and people were excited by the cartoon. So, did
you watch that Batman Escape from Arkham?
I haven't seen
Travis.
See, that's what I keep hearing. So, I think
it's good.
So yes, I can see it for those kinds of reasons. It is weird though. It's because it's going to be, of course, a movie about bad guys. Because they're bad guys. They clearly have to be bad guys. I was frustrated to see over the weekend that they announced that they are courting somebody for the Joker for the show. And my first question is why the hell is the Joker have anything to do with it? It's the Suicide Squad. And everybody jumped on me about, well, Harley's in it, so it's got to have Joker. No, it doesn't. The Harley Quinn book is hugely successful. Everybody loves that damn thing, and the Joker's not in it.
Okay, spoiler alert, Travis. He shows up in that Escape from Arkham movie.
Okay, I don't need to watch it now.
No, you do. You really do. He does not play a significant role. He provides some motivation in one part of the movie.
You shouldn't have to use him to.
I agree with you, but
whatever.
Don't not watch that movie though, because of that, because it's actually a really good movie.
Should have never told me that.
I'm sorry.
Not that I hate the Joker. I don't hate the Joker. I think the Joker's a great character, can be used in lots of great ways. I just think it's one of those kind of things that you don't need to have.
You don't need him. No.
You don't need him in there for this to be great. Anyway,
no.
What's next?
Doctor Strange.
I'm excited for that.
Really? See, I
like Doctor Strange. Yeah, he's an obscure character only because Marvel comic books are dumbasses and won't really do stuff with the damn guy. There should be a Doctor Strange comic book. There should be. I'm hoping this makes a Doctor Strange comic book, and I'm hoping it doesn't have to act like a movie. But I like the Doctor Strange character. Always have. I like magic superheroes. So if they're going to make a magic superhero movie, Doctor Strange, I'm excited about it.
I will admit I would be more behind a Doctor Strange movie as opposed to an Ant-Man movie, for sure.
Way more personal.
Oh, so what do you think of the? I don't know if this. I thought it was confirmed, and then I heard it wasn't. So I don't know what the latest news is about Benedict Cumberbatch being cast as Doctor Strange.
That's what I heard.
If that's the case, if he actually is going to play the Doctor, not that Doctor, but Doctor Strange. I totally will be behind that. He's awesome. Yeah. Next is Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is in May of 2017. Did you see Guardians of the Galaxy, Travis?
I saw it opening night. I actually stood in the freaking crowd of people and watched it opening night on Thursday.
That is unlike you. What is wrong with you?
Yes, it is very unlike me, huh?
Why did you do that?
Because I hated myself that day, clearly.
Wait, is that because that you actually went to a movie theater with lots of people in it, or because of the movie, or both?
Both.
Really? You didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy?
It was okay. It was complete. I mean, there was more content in the Avengers movie. And to me, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie was absolute and utter fluff.
Okay, I could see that. I enjoyed it. It was good, but yeah, it was like, okay. I watched a movie about these guys. Special effects were kind of neat.
Yeah. And I just thought, man, I paid top dollar and sat with a bunch of obnoxious people for this.
Yeah. Well, okay, but wait a minute. You haven't explained why you went opening night.
I don't know. I don't know what got into me.
You just decided it's just on a whim.
What the heck? I decided, what the heck? If I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go and experience the whole pageantry that is going to a wonderful superhero Marvel movie. So that's
okay. So next up is Wonder Woman in June 2017.
Yay!
Yeah, yay!
And I'm excited and very scared at the same time. So
yeah, they could totally screw this up, but well, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm glad they're finally doing a Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, way past time.
Then next is Thor Ragnarok, is in July of 2017. I'm really looking forward to that. I really like the Thor movies. In fact, I like them better than the Iron Man movies in general.
I've enjoyed the Thor movies, but I haven't seen any of them in the theater. I've watched them all.
Oh yeah.
Way after the fact. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of these, except for maybe the Avengers, I think any of these you can wait and watch. You don't have to go to the theater to see them. It's not like the spectacle on screen is any better served by the widescreen offerings. I don't know. Black Panther in November of 2017. Again, like Wonder Woman, I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited about it. I just don't know any. There's not a whole lot to say about some of these things because we don't know anything about them other than they're doing them.
Right. That's surprising. That one's surprising to me. Other than from we need a diverse cast. That's the only thing about it that doesn't surprise me about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know the motivations obviously behind the studio for doing it, but that's kind of what it feels to me like. Is that to some degree that's what that is.
Well, maybe, but I'm glad they're doing it.
Because it's not a character anybody talks about.
Exactly, but like Ant-Man.
Yeah, but Black Panther's cooler than Ant-Man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. and if they do anything, if the characterization is anything at all like what Hickman has been doing in the new Avengers comic, man, I will be, and Doctor Strange for that matter, because he's in that comic too.
Right.
If they do anything along those lines, pick up any little bits from that comic, that the portrayal of those characters in that comic, I am totally on board with that, because those, especially Black Panther, the stuff that they're doing, setting up between Black Panther and the Aquaman guy in Marvel.
Submariner.
Namor, yeah.
Wow.
Oops. I know. Whoops. Sorry, Marvel fans out there. That stuff is just like, oh my God, the animosity and the détente that they set up with these characters, it's just awesome. I get excited about it. I love that book. Then we have the full-fledged in November. Same month as Black Panther, apparently, just a couple weeks later. Justice League, a movie called Justice League. So we get that. Followed by
excited for that.
Yeah.
For
the
now.
potential's there. The potential is there. Just don't screw it up. Followed by The Flash. And okay, so let's talk about that for a second, Travis. So they made so I saw a post by someone who works at Marvel. I won't dignify it by calling attention to him. But he had put out there on his Twitter feed, how much of a how dumb can you, or how stupid can you be by releasing this information about the Flash movie when your new TV series is a week old or 2 weeks old or whatever it was.
What a dumbass.
So what do you think about that? About
stupid.
Which stupid? What he said, or
his comment is stupid. They're two completely different things. TV franchises and movie franchises are completely different monsters. Clearly, the person who works on a level of television isn't necessarily the person who's going to work on a level of movies. And DC and Warner have both clearly stated many times now that their TV world is not tied to their movie world. They're two completely different beasts and whatnot. It doesn't take anything away from the TV show or the actor who's playing the Flash to announce that somebody else is playing the Flash in a movie. That's just dumb. And to think that we, the consumers, are so retarded that we can't grasp the idea that they're two different things is pretty insulting, I think. So whatever. So in the case of Marvel, they basically just said all of our TV shows are going to be less than, because we can't introduce an actual honest-to-God superhero in our TV shows, because there's no way you can afford to pay Robert Downey Jr. money to actually spend more than a nanosecond in a
like with Nick Fury, yeah.
Right, a nanosecond in the thing. So that sucks. I think that sucks. I know that regardless of the level of DC show I'm watching, there's the potential for anybody to show up. I could be watching The Flash and Superman could show up. I'm not limited by the fact that there could be a Superman show up in the thing. Whereas with the Marvel, I know that's what's going to happen. So I think it's just dumb. I think it's dumb on a lot of levels. I think it's immature Marvel management bullshit to be saying that. Excuse me.
Okay, but let me provide a counterpoint, even though I don't want to,
sure.
because I agree with you totally. But there has been in the past, there has been this path from TV show to movie, and sometimes vice versa. So for the typical audience member, and by that I mean not us, not comic book fans. I would think that people who are aware of the TV show The Flash because it came first, and then they go see the movie The Flash, or maybe because they go see the movie The Flash because of the TV show, and then you get this totally different universe, different actors, different situations. Is that going to?
Okay, so
you know where I'm going with this.
All right, so basically you're saying that the average consumer is stupid, is what you're saying.
Well, no, not that.
We're gonna get stupid. And we're gonna get stupid productions because we've got stupid audience members. To me, that's what you're saying. And it's just like saying that. Obviously, I watched the first Spider-Man movie that came out with Garfield as right, that's his actor's name, as Spider-Man. So clearly, I can't adjust to watching a current Spider-Man movie because there's a different person being Peter Parker. He acts different. He rides a skateboard. So obviously, my brain can't grasp the fact that there are two different Spider-Man. that is. Come have that argument. I would love that guy to come on the show and have an argument with me, because that's just. I mean, I don't want to call him dumb, but that's dumb. That's a dumb argument, and and I don't think it holds water.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just want to put that out. Just the confusion that people may have.
Yes.
Going from one venue to another like that.
There's not going to be any confusion. They may go in thinking, oh, I saw the Flash on television. I'm going to see the Flash on the screen, and they're going to see some larger portrayal version of the Flash and go, oh, yeah, it wasn't the same guy, but either I thought it was cool because I liked it or I hated it because I hated it. I can't see people are going to go, well, it wasn't that guy playing the Flash, and it wasn't that guy playing Iris, and it wasn't that, whatever. So.
Right.
No, that's dumb.
Okay. Next big film will be Avengers: The Infinity War Part 1. This is May 2018. Oh, and did I mention the Flashes? That's March 2018. So there you go. So then in May 2018 we get 4 movies in 2018 for superhero stuff. But Avengers: Infinity War Part 1.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. But it sounds big.
Sure.
So whatever they've been building up to ever since they did the
what's
Thanos thing?
What's the Civil War thing though? Because the Civil War thing, I didn't read that. I wasn't reading comics at the time. that's basically Captain America versus Iron Man. Isn't that what Civil War is? wasn't it?
That's what it was. Yeah.
They kind of draw lines. One side's for the government and getting themselves all registered, and the other side's like, no, we're freedom, yay, whatever. Is that all going to happen and get all squared away within that movie? At the end of it, everybody's going to be happy and fine, so we can go on to have this other Avengers movie down the road.
Or the tension that was built in that Captain America movie gets transferred into the Infinity War. I don't know.
2 years later, okay.
It seems odd that they would do it that way.
Well, I don't know. Well, that's just it. All we've got is titles and guesses at this point, because we're so far out. Realistically, these movies may not even ever exist.
Exactly. So 2 years from now, superhero movies can suddenly decline so much in popularity and more importantly the dollars coming in that they adjust or just flat out cancel their schedule.
All right.
Yeah. Well, but what I was saying with the Infinity War, like I said, it seems weird that they would transition that into the Infinity War, but that's only because, like you say, we only have the title.
Right.
And I'm assuming a lot based on that title, because that and what the buildup that we've had with the whole cosmic aspect of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, beginning with that Thanos cameo, into more recently the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Tesseract and the Infinity Gems, all that stuff that they've been introducing.
All the little things they're hinting along the way, right?
Yeah,
makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, but if they do what I think they might do, based on what I know of the comic book story, that's going to be a hell of a interesting movie, or 2 movies because it's part 1.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how us, common viewers are going to be able to grasp all those little nuggets that were in all those other movies to be able to put together for a movie in the future.
Travis, are you telling me that you think the common viewing audience is stupid? They can't grasp that stuff?
No, I don't. But and God bless the few people who produce things that don't dumb it down for us. That's the problem. Is.
Oh yeah. Well, do you think Marvel's done a good job at that though? Not dumbing things down?
Some things they've done well, and other things no. I don't.
Sure. But in general, they're not. Like Thanos, they didn't spell that out who that was until Guardians of the Galaxy, I think.
Right.
Maybe not even then enough. We obviously know who Thanos is, but they just introduced the character, and obviously he's a bad guy, or potential bad guy. That's all we really need to know in general. And then they built up from there, from the other, little post-credit scenes that they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think they built it up sufficiently and in a good enough fashion that it's not going to take a big leap of faith on a non-comic book fans, audience members on their part to grasp what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up is Captain Marvel. This is July 2018, and then same month, Aquaman.
That's Carol Danvers.
That's Carol Danvers. Yeah, that's another interesting choice. I'm glad to see that. I'm just really curious what they're going to do with that. But I'll say that about Aquaman too.
Holy cats! Aquaman movie. I don't know.
I'm not sure how to read your response there, Travis. I know how much of a fan you are of that character.
It's like Ant-Man. It's one of those movies. It's like, really? Because here's the reason why. as much as I have fun picking on Aquaman, it's just one of those things I have fun doing. Especially when you're on, I deeply love to pick on Aquaman. But I mean, because I think Aquaman the character is cool and he works well in a lot of stuff. But he is the butt of anybody who even has the slightest grasp of comic book nerddom. He's a joke. That's the joke. So to take something that is the joke and then try to make a 2-hour movie out of it, where he's not Aquaman from the Brave and the Bold cartoon.
Oh God, please no. I like that portrayal in that situation, but no, I don't want a movie out of that.
Okay, but do you see what I'm saying? So it's just, to me, it's like, wow. I mean, that's, not to say you can't make a cool movie of it. Just to me, it's like you're fighting a lot of this other thing that says that he's, in some way a joke or another.
Sure.
That is and in pop culture, he's a joke. I mean, you look at Big Bang Theory. He's a joke on Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
Who's made to dress up as Aquaman? It's a joke. I think in pop culture, to a large degree, he's the thing you laugh about. So to try and make a movie about it is hard.
I don't know. I think the average person who happens to know that Aquaman even exists and does not, this person does not read comics. He
talks to fish.
He's the guy that talks to fish. That's it. That's all they know. I think the butt of the joke aspect of him that's us, Travis. That's people who read the comics.
Okay. When I get some free time, I'll search the internet to send you all kinds of pop culture references that make. I don't know. I just. Well,
no, hold on. No, those are two different things. Pop culture references and the typical person who would go see a superhero movie is what I'm talking about.
Okay,
there are overlaps.
I'll call my mother up and record the phone conversation about Aquaman just for you.
All right. And I'll poll some people as well, and then next time we get together we can compare notes.
But I mean, they've got this kind of badass guy gonna play Aquaman, so I can't remember.
Who is that? Okay.
I can't remember his name. It starts with an M. He was in Game of Thrones. He played the big. Oh jeez, forget it. I can't remember what that character's name is in the show either. So.
All right, yeah, I have no idea either, so I'll have to look that up. Next in 2019. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, still 2018. Oh wow, we get 5 films in 2018. Holy crap! The Inhumans. It's in November apparently.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting too.
Yeah. What the heck?
From a non-comic book perspective, who the hell are the Inhumans?
Well, how is this any different from the Guardians of the Galaxy?
That's true. It's true. There's a cute dog in it, so it'll do well, right?
Yeah.
As long as they concentrate on Lockjaw, they're golden.
Well, this is Marvel Studios' mutant line, non-mutant mutant line, right? Because they don't have the rights to do X-Men.
Right. All part of that conspiracy. They're going to move everything to the Inhumans and establish that everybody's an Inhuman as opposed to a mutant.
Mutant, yeah. Yeah. Well, we could talk about that.
But I'm excited.
Angle of that some other time.
I'm excited for that, though. Just the idea of getting to see a live-action Medusa is pretty awesome. I think so.
You're the second person I think that I've encountered that has basically said that the same thing, and identified Medusa specifically. So that's interesting. Okay, so now we're into 2019. Oh my God! So this 4+ years away. Shazam comes first, and then Justice League 2 in June,
mm-hmm.
and then we get the Infinity War Part 2 from Marvel. Now Shazam, I can see that to some degree. Although, why would you not have another Superman movie instead? Because Shazam and Superman are basically the same kind of character.
Yeah.
So why do Shazam? Except that they want to introduce that character, I assume, for the Justice League movie.
Mm-hmm.
If they do, I'll just say it. I cannot stand Shazam in in the comic books nowadays. The New 52 version of Shazam, hate him, can't stand him. Do not like the portrayal of that character.
I don't like the whole Marvel family. I think the whole Marvel family came out of the New 52 shakeup. Just what there is of it is weak. I mean, I don't even think that
Are you talking about
Black Adam?
Oh, okay.
I call them the Marvel family because that's what they are in my head, not the Shazam whatever.
But you're talking right. But you're talking when you say the Marvel family, you're talking about the foster siblings of Billy Batson. Okay.
Well, no. I mean, just the whole thing. Billy Batson, the whole Mary Marvel, Captain Marvel,
the superhero characters that you're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
And Black Adam, they all came out of this thing.
Right.
Less than.
And The Rock is apparently going to be Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I heard. That's the last thing I heard. I think that's a pretty good choice in terms of the look.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he'll make a great angry badass, Black Adam.
Now, so I assume this will be a big one-on-one versus movie between Shazam. It'll be an origin story of Shazam, and then it'll be a big fight between him and Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I can only assume. I guess that'll be fun. But like I said, if they portray Shazam and Billy Batson the way that he's being portrayed right now, man, I'm turned off already.
Yeah.
And then finally, last two films, 2020, Travis, 2020.
I feel old.
So let's see. I'm not going to say. Let's see. So this is 2014. So let's just count from 2015. So that's 5 years. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just realized how old I'm going to be.
Yes. Like I said. Ugh.
As
long as they allow walkers into the movie theater, I'll be okay.
Oh, you're not going to be that old. Come on. Oh my God. Well, Travis, that means Green Lantern comes out.
My kids will be graduated.
Comes out a few days before your birthday.
Oh.
And if I'm doing my calculation correctly, that's a big birthday for you.
Yeah, it is. Isn't
there you
it?
go.
I'm sure it will not be celebrating it.
There's a way to celebrate right there. Hey, you could go on opening night again.
There you are. Hey, so do you think that Green Lantern will be Hal Jordan again, or do you think they'll give us a different Green Lantern?
I bet you it's Hal Jordan, but I kind of wish it would be John Stewart.
Give us the good Green Lantern.
Unless they give us John Stewart in the Justice League movies, it's going to be Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Sure.
And then finally listed here, but it looks like it comes out before Green Lantern. So Green Lantern is the last movie in this slate that we get.
Where's Cyborg?
Right, that's what I'm going to say. It's apparently because the way that this list is presented is just weird, but that I'm reading off of. But that's April of 2020, and you get Cyborg. So again, it's like Cyborg's the Ant-Man of the DC Comics here.
It is. It is just weird. It's weird. Other than planting a diverse character within the movie DC universe, it's weird, isn't it? Cyborg? Really?
Well, other than he's a member of the Justice League in the comics, and so that leads us into the third Justice League movie down the road, I presume.
Yeah, I guess.
So.
Still seems weird to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some of these choices are weird. But anyway. Okay, so which one out of all these oddball ones that we've been talking about, which is the weirdest one to you? Aquaman?
No, Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, yeah. I still come to that too.
Ant-Man and Doctor Strange are the most obscure of all of these things. I mean, everybody kind of knows who Aquaman is. I mean, the name's at least been thrown out there. I don't know how often Ant-Man gets thrown out there. To me, I think the average person who doesn't know comic books hears Ant-Man, and it's kind of like that's a joke, or that's some ancient comic book character back when they used to name people simple things like Superman, right?
Yeah.
Not anything against people who like Ant-Man. I mean, I've read stuff that I've enjoyed Ant-Man in, don't get me wrong. But to me, it seems very, very obscure, and for it to be coming this soon just seems really strange to me.
Unless they're going to tie it into the Avengers movies somehow.
Well, isn't he responsible for Ultron?
Well, see, that's the thing. The best I know, the Ultron is a Tony Stark invention, from what I've gleaned. But yes, in the comics, Ant-Man did create Ultron.
Okay.
So I don't know that they're actually making that connection in the movies.
Okay. Whatever. It's strange to me. It's strange, but we'll see what
Mhm.
happens. I mean, I'm sure it'll make a bundle of money.
Are will you not see any of these movies that we've just talked about?
I'll see them all.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll see them all. I may not see them all in the theater. I don't know. Some I'm excited to see in the theater. I'll be going and seeing them sooner than later. Some it'll be if I get to the theater. Some it'll be, can I get to a cheap matinee to watch it kind of thing. But no, I'll see them all. They're superhero. I end up seeing all the
Yeah.
superhero stuff. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't. At some point, it's not.
Yep.
You know.
Well, okay. So which ones are you most excited about that you will definitely see in the theater?
I
The
will see
Avengers and Justice League.
Avengers and Justice League movies. 100%. I will see those. I doubt I will see the next Guardians of the Galaxy in theater. I mean, it's going to take somebody else in my proximity to get me to go see that. I will not be going, hey, let's go to the movies and see this. Wonder Woman, I will be going to see in theater. I will probably go opening night to see that in the theater.
And so why do you say that? Why Wonder Woman? Just to be supportive?
Yes, that's one of the reasons. That's
to
why
vote,
I will
vote with your dollars.
Right. That's why I'll go opening night. I will go opening night because of that. I want my dollars to be spent on the excitement of it. Hopefully, it ends up being a great show. On top of that, but I want the dollars to be there so we don't get to hear women can't carry an action type blah 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 that we keep hearing all the time. That no one there isn't an audience for that because I don't think that's true.
Do you think there's an audience for the Black Widow movie? Because that's one of the things that I've been hearing a complaint about from various people.
Sure, the criticism is there that I'm shocked, actually, to tell you the truth, because she's been in all of the Avengers movies. She's been in the Captain America movies.
Iron Man.
Iron Man. It makes perfect sense that she would be in a movie, and I think I think Scarlett Johansson being Black Widow could easily carry a movie. I don't understand why not. Yeah. I don't. And
it's an odd choice on Marvel Studios' part. I think, yeah.
To not do it. What they don't think people are going to be interested in that level of a. Why can't they have her have a movie, her be the main focus, and Captain America drift in and out of it a few times? I mean, she was a definite key player in Winter Soldier.
Yep.
I mean, that would have been a completely different story if we didn't have her involved in it. I mean, she plays some key points in that thing. So to me, it surprises me that there's a movie sooner than later, let alone no movie at all.
Right. And conversely, on the DC side, it seems odd to me that we didn't get a new Batman film put on the slate within 5 years. Now, maybe that's coming after that.
I think it is. I think it'll come after that. I think they want to use the Batman franchise to help focal on the Justice League and that sort of thing. I think they also want to have enough distance between the last 3 Batman movies to now they can develop whatever kind of voice they want, figure out who they want and whatnot. There's huge money in a Batman movie, and I think they need to be a little more careful than just kind of let's throw something up and see what sticks.
Well, and I can't see what's his name. Who's playing Batman in the Dawn of Justice movie?
Affleck. Ben.
Affleck. God, I just saw him in Gone Girl.
Yeah.
That was really good. Anyway, I can't see him committing to doing a trilogy of Batman films in 2021 and beyond. So they would have to go with a new actor and a new take on the character. And how does that then fit in with what they're setting up in the Justice League movies?
I would love to see them actually pass the mantle on. Actually have a movie and a movie point. Yeah, they kind of flirted with it almost in the Batman movie. They gave us the potential to do that. Not saying that that's what it should be, but I think that would be kind of cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're portraying, from everything we've heard anyway, they're portraying Batman as an older, more seasoned veteran of what he's been doing, kind of up against, clashing with this brash, with the brash young Superman. So it would be interesting to see that move at some point. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Okay, I think we've basically talked ourselves out of this subject matter, Travis.
Yep.
But it was obviously fun. I enjoy talking about this stuff with you. You and I off mic, we talk about this stuff. You and I personally, but rarely do you and I talk about like the TV stuff. We don't really usually talk about that together on air. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to do that with you finally. Yeah. Hopefully not hopefully. We'll do this again down the road. We'll check in as time goes on and see where we're at with many of these shows, and then of course what comes next. What property, what franchise will someone develop? Because we know that especially on DC, Jeff Johns, the chief creative officer out there, and couple that with a move of DC Comics to California from New York. They're trying to develop that synergy between the print side of things and the television and movie side as well. So what's next? That'll be fun to see and then support, because I think we do generally support these things, even if we make fun of some concepts. We still are going to watch the stuff and try to enjoy it as best we can for what they give us. So, Golden age, Travis. Like I said, it's a golden age. Hopefully, we live long enough to see what comes next.
No kidding. No kidding.
All right. Anything else we want to talk about, Travis, before we get out of here?
Nope.
All righty. Well, thank you again, Travis, for joining me on this conversation. It's always fun, as I said. Travis, remind everybody where they can find you on the interwebs.
All you gotta do is, show up on YouTube and type in Oddfellow's Thoughts, all one word, and I should be the first thing that comes up.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you'd like to leave feedback, you may do so by emailing me at longboxreview@gmail.com, or you can leave comments at longboxreview.com. I'd like to remind everyone that besides listening to the episodes at longboxreview.com or on iTunes, you can also listen to the Longbox Review podcast on Stitcher. Also, the Longbox Review podcast is a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network. Go to comicspodcasts.com to find many comic book related podcasts. This being December, I plan on releasing one more episode this month, and then I'll probably be taking some time off to enjoy the holidays, and then I will be back in the new year with new episodes about your favorite comics and mine. Thanks for listening.